Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Just give me half a second to set up things on my end. Today we're going to play with our friend, the Owlman. As you can see, I got him a nice new Owlman emblem. Obviously, it's going to take quite a while before I can actually get the entire Owlman set of gear for this character. But I often mention this Universe Online is not a sprint, it's a marathon. I'm not sure why I can't. Come on. Sometimes YouTube doesn't want to cooperate. And today is Cyber Monday. Sadly, there's not a special sale for Monday on DC Universe Online. Basically, we still have the sale that started last Friday. Hello, Mods Money. So if you did not enjoy the sale just yet, you still have until midnight, I think, or something like that. So there we go. We should be good to go now. So today we're going to play with our friend Owlman. We'll just do whatever missions we need to do to go up in level. Hello, Budget Monkey. So let's get started. Let's pull back the camera a bit. So as you see, I bought a brand new Owlman emblem to our Owlman character. Basically, as I always say, go to the broker as often as you can. And at some point I went to the broker, the emblem was like 1 million with my multiverse character, so I bought it for our friend Owlman. I'm not sure why there's some clowns here. I guess someone pulled a whole bunch of clowns behind them. Yeah, I guess it happens. Hello, Omari Morgan. For Batman Rebirth? Not sure. You mean the Batman character that I have? I would have to look it up. And tonight we have the Earth X crossover, the first two-part. If I'm not mistaken, tonight we have the Supergirl and the Arrow part of the crossover. And tomorrow we should have the Flash part and the Legends of Tomorrow part. I'm pretty excited about that. Mods Money, your English is fine. I'm playing on PlayStation 4 right now. Oh, I guess we're done. Wasn't paying attention. Too many clowns and too many robots. Let's grab the little thingy here first.
Penguin, I don't normally approve of wanton thuggery. Calculator here. Ready to get some revenge on the genius who planned to digitize your powers? Then let's...
So tonight, make sure you don't miss the Crisis on Earth X crossover. I probably should have made a video or two about that during the weekend, but I guess I was a bit of a slacker.
Right, I think I blocked him. The bad news is that he's capturing exobyte targets. Take some of those poor slobs to the transport drop-off.
Let's grab the little exobyte here. So today is Cyber Monday, and I guess a lot of people are still celebrating Thanksgiving. So there didn't seem to be that many people online today. Not just in the game, but even online, period. Like if you look at the forums or other places online, people seems to not be there, which is understandable. Today, I suppose a lot of people are spending time with their families, which is okay. Tomorrow will be another day, and we'll have more people probably tomorrow. Hello, Wolves Bay Mod. What Warner Brother has to do to make a better Justice League movie next time? There's a lot of things they have to do. The first thing is that they have to stop being reactionary. Basically, a lot of the decisions they made to try to be different from Marvel, as opposed to just making whatever decision was good for them. So instead of making good decisions for the Justice League film and for the DC universe, the DC cinematic universe, they made decisions just to do the opposite of what Marvel did, and that instead of doing the best decisions they should have made. We often see that. We saw that with the Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know if you guys remember when we had the Amazing Spider-Man. A lot of the choices that were made when they made the Amazing Spider-Man was to just do something different than the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. A lot of the decision making wasn't even to make the best Spider-Man possible. It was like, okay, let's do the opposite of what Sam Raimi did before, and it pretty much backfired after barely 2 films. So the first thing is that Warner DC have to stop trying to do the opposite of what Marvel did. They have to just look at what they have and ask themselves what's the best thing they could do for their own universe. They couldn't agree. The producers and the director couldn't agree when they tried to make Spider-Man 4. And the producers thought it would be easier for them to just reboot the whole thing. And they did just that. And then obviously their new what was called as the Amazing Spider-Man, like the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, pretty much backfired. So they had to reboot it again, and this time they decided to do it in co-production with Marvel in order to make it not as bad that they were rebooting it that early.
Right, I think I blocked them. The bad news
So the fact that we had
targets.
the fact that we had Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe did help people accept the fact that they were rebooting the Spider-Man universe once more.
For his invasion, he'll start modeling
That's good. Wolves Bay Mod. I just got mine to combat rating to rank 80 with my multiverse character. And roughly it gives about like 600 or 800 extra health point, I forget, when I activate the group power heal. It's not a big deal, but basically from what I understand, all the artifacts are supposed to work together. So if my artifact gives like 800 extra health point to the group, and your artifact gives an extra 800 health point, and someone else's artifact gives an extra 800 health point, at the end of the day, all the artifacts combined together should give a nice amount of health point. It won't be game breaking, but it'll be a nice thing. So again, for the Justice League, the first thing they have to do, they have to stop trying to do the opposite of what Marvel is doing. They should just do what is good, the things that are good decisions, as opposed to reactionary decisions. But DC have always been reactionary. That's sadly their one of their bad part, I suppose. Right now, this mission is oh, wrong. Come on. It's Attack Brainiac. We have to fight the evil forces of Brainiac. It's one of the very early missions you have when you start playing this universe online. But this version is the version from my mentor. I think I took the Joker with this character. So basically, if your mentor is the Joker, this is where you actually play this mission. Because depending on which mentor you have, this mission will be different. It's usually close to where you start to the safe house or the police station where you actually start playing the game. So again, depending on which mentor you have, it will dictate where you have to go to do this mission. Oh, I think we're done. So let's get out of here. Yeah, it's pretty much optional. You don't have to do it. But there is no real reason not to do it. It gives you a bit of XP, and it's not that difficult to play as a mission. Like right now, we'll probably have to go back. So now we're going to go back and collect our reward. Basically, there's this little NPC in the safe house that gives you that mission if you talk to him. But if you don't talk to him, he never gives you the mission. So you do it whether you want to or not. And again, it's different in each depending for each mentor. So depending on on which mentor you're using, you will do the very same mission at different places. It's not a big change, but it's nice that there's some variations like that. Ah, that's good. You're almost catching up with my multiverse. My multiverse right now is at 219, I think.
Yeah, that should keep Brainiac licking his wounds for
So basically, if your mentor is the Joker, you talk to this little fella here, and he's going to give you the mission. It's a level 7 mission, so it's not that difficult to do. And of course, now we're level 16. Oh yeah. Which comic had the biggest impact? Well, it has to be Action Comics #1. It pretty much gave birth to the whole superhero genre. It didn't really give birth because there were technically a few superheroes before that, like the Phantom. But Superman is really what made people take notice of superhero comics, and that's when superhero comics pretty much exploded and became popular culture. Well, yeah, Crisis on Infinite Earth was sad. I understand what you're saying. Basically, I was heartbroken when I read Crisis on Infinite Earth because I was a big fan of the Barry Allen Flash, and sadly, our poor friend Barry Allen was a little dead after Crisis on Infinite Earth. I guess we have to go there next. So I was all sad that they killed Barry Allen the Flash. But then after that they replaced him with Wally West as the Flash. And Wally West had a pretty good run as the Flash. Yeah, they killed Supergirl as well. Poor Supergirl. Obviously they had to try to bring her back. Like John Byrne, 5 minutes after Supergirl was dead, John Byrne tried to bring her back. But he brought her back as the Matrix Supergirl. Oh yeah, you did. Hi, Wally. Oh, I think we're going to go fight the evil forces of Bane. But I love the Crisis on Infinite Earth, despite it killed Barry Allen the Flash and a whole bunch of other characters. For Young Justice Season 3, I'm dying for that. I loved the first 2 seasons we had. Well, for a long time, Supergirl was... what was her name? Danvers? I have Carol Danvers in mind, but that's not the name I'm looking for. Been a long time since I read the Supergirl series by Peter David. But anyway, basically they gave her... They created a new Supergirl afterwards, and obviously they had... Because the idea they had after Crisis on Infinite Earth, or I'm not sure if it's DC who had that idea, or John Byrne, doesn't really matter. They wanted Superman to be the last son of Krypton. They didn't want to be any other Kryptonians. Yeah, the Young Justice thing will be a bit of a mess, but everyone is trying to have their own streaming service. Oh, thanks, Izar. But yes, everyone is trying to have their own streaming service. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work for Young Justice. Sadly, there's starting to be a little too many services. Hello, Fricton. So I'm pretty sure no one is going to subscribe to all those services. I guess most people will stay subscribed to Netflix, but a lot of those other services like there's CBS, what's it called, All Access or something. There's Disney who wants to have their own streaming service. There's DC Warner who wants to have their own streaming service. So it's gonna the competition will be fierce, and not everyone is going to be able to subscribe to all those services. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. They're gonna have to come up with some sort of package deals or something like that, because there's no way everyone is going to be able there's no way people are going to be able to subscribe to all those services. Oh, let's go after the strongman. Too much talking, not enough paying attention. That happens. Injustice 2 deleted your gear? It could be probably a bug. I guess they must have some sort of support, so you should contact the support for them to give your gear back. I was a little tempted to give a try to Injustice, but already had a little too many games that I wanted to play. Although I don't think I'm going to play Star Wars Battlefront as much as I thought, so maybe I'll give a try to Injustice 2 during the holidays. We'll see. But yeah, I'm waiting for Young Justice 3. I was very happy to find out that there's going to be a third season. And hopefully this time, seeing how it's going to be part of their streaming services. It depends on the character. Some characters have more decorations than others. A lot of bases are under decoration, are in progress, I should say. But that's sooner or later we'll try to decorate. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. If you're going to get some crystals for free, that's a nice bug then. But I can imagine you must have freaked out when you saw your gear gone. 2 days ago, we had a bug where with the leagues in DC Universe Online. I don't know if some of you guys noticed. At some point, I tried to log in with my Multiverse character, and oopsie, I was no longer part of a league. And I tried with a couple of characters to log in, and all my leagues were gone. Hero League, Villain League, everything was gone. About an hour or two later, it was back, but it was scary at first because you wonder like what happened. Then you wonder maybe you gave permission to the wrong player and that player kicked everyone out of the league. But luckily it was just a tiny bug and they fixed it pretty quick. Now Disney are going to get Disney are working to get their own streaming service. People have been wondering how it's going to affect the deal they have with Netflix, because right now Disney is producing Daredevil and Punisher and I forget which other series with Netflix. But Disney are definitely trying to create their own service so that they can have all their shows on their own service as opposed to having to be co-producers with someone like, let's say, Netflix. I think I missed Oh, thank you, progress report. not everyone agrees with you, but I'll take it. I'll take the compliment. Thank you very much.
Perhaps you've heard about venom? It's not just any steroid. It blows up your body and your mind.
So let's see if we got a few nice rewards.
All over Cape Carmine.
I guess not. Oh yeah, and we have... Oh, not yet. Level 20. And my main CR is about 219, I think. Well, English isn't my first language, so sometimes I'll look for the correct word. It happens. Sorry about that. Sadly, there's a lot of people complaining in this universe online. There's nothing really you can do about that. So you try to ignore them. Once in a while, they'll have a point. The problem is that they complain about so many things, so many pointless things, that at some point you're getting tired of hearing them complain. And so once in a while, when they have a legitimate complaint, you've heard them complain so much about so many useless things that even when they have a legitimate complaint, you don't listen to what they're saying afterwards. Oh, you got lucky. There's like 800 styles in the Prometheum log boxes, so the odds of getting the styles you want, like the odds of getting the Stalwart Defender or the Noble Warrior, are pretty slim. It's French. It's French, but French from North America as opposed to French from France, which may not mean anything to you guys, but basically it's as different as the English from the United States and the English from England. It's almost two different languages.
You just made the last mistake of your life.
You had to farm 13 hours for 50 Prometheum log boxes. I feel like I forgot something. Yeah, I am from Canada. So basically the accent we have here is quite different than the French accent. I went to France in 1988, and it was pretty illuminating. They basically didn't understand, or they didn't want to understand what we were saying. Ironically enough, we had an easier time being understood by German people. Like basically, I went to Germany for 3 months in 1988, and the German people, even though we didn't speak the language, they were working really hard to try to communicate with us. And ironically enough, we decided we had a week where we could go anywhere we wanted, and we decided to go to Paris. And even though we spoke the same language as they did, or at least we thought we did, they were acting as if they didn't understand us. Sooner or later, your artifact will be rank 100, and you won't have to worry about it until they come up with some new artifacts. So don't worry too much about that. Well, they shouldn't make this universe online too dark, because despite the rating that the game has, there's still a lot of younger people playing the game, so I wouldn't want them to make the game too dark.
The Falcones are not happy. These are our streets, got it? Get us Bane's distribution info. His clients are about to change their brand loyalty.
Oh, I see. So for those of you who don't know, there is a sale currently in the marketplace. So there's a few things like technically the sale is supposed to be able to go up to 50%, but sadly, as a lot of things, it's up to. So there's some items that will be on sale only for like 10%, and so you're gonna have to look through the marketplace to find the items you want at a good price. I used the opportunity to purchase a whole bunch of armories. Hello, Face Money. I can understand if you fell in love with the game. It's a pretty fun game. If you ever dreamt, like when I was a young lad, I dreamt of being a superhero, or even better, playing a superhero game. And in my days, the closest we had to a superhero game was to play with action figures or something like that. Could be. I'm not very familiar with Brazil or Portugal. Never been there. So I'm not that familiar with the culture, but I can easily imagine. Basically, even though there's similarities between the French culture in North America and the French culture from Europe, sadly it doesn't mix as well as you thought you would think it is. Basically, if you went to some place like, let's say, Burger King, and you wanted to order a Whopper, basically over here a Whopper, it's the same thing whether you say it in French or in English. But when we went to Paris, when we tried to order a Whopper, basically they were saying it Whopper. So they were saying the same thing, but just with a tiny slight accent. And somehow, if we were asking for a Whopper, they were acting as if they didn't understand what we were saying. How dare you steal my good name? But it's okay. Sadly, I don't own the copyright for Multiverse. Heck, even my Multiverse character, I had to cheat because there was already someone else called Multiverse. So I had to, I think I used like an L to do one of the I or something. I forget how I cheated the spelling, but I had to cheat the spelling in order to be able to call my character Multiverse. And even then, and even better, I had to call it the Multiverse. Sorry about that. If you're an Xbox, it's fine then. Hopefully, I didn't check. Doesn't matter. There's a feat that you can get if you get all the canisters. I didn't pay attention if I got them all. Worst comes to worst, I can come back if I want to. How is the game on Xbox? Is there a lot of players? At some point, people were saying that they weren't. There was a lot of players when the game launched, and then some players were trying to say that it pretty much was deserted afterwards. Is there any truth to that, or is it people were exaggerating, as it happens once in a while, sadly? Yeah, I understand. I have a few characters where I used a few cheats like that, like either using an I for L or a L for a capital I or something. Or using a 0 instead of O. So yes, it's deserted, or yes, it's fine. Yes. If you have any questions, progress report, don't hesitate. I'll see what I can do about answering it. If I can't answer it, I'll just tell you I can't. I don't know the answer. Or sometimes there are things that I have to look up. Like basically when someone was asking about the color code for what I assume is my Batman that's using the Batman Rebirth emblem. So I'm gonna have to look it up, but when I get the chance, I'll do that. the boss. It sounds appropriate somehow.
That's all.
I hate venom.
As long as it's not the bossy boss, you're good.
The Falcon's paying me to stomp him out is just icing on the cake. You stick it to Bane.
Vicky Vale exclusive. Bane's recruiters often bear the image of Kamakshli, god of the hunt.
I suspected as much. Maybe you should have called him the evil boss with like a half a dozen L at the end of evil. Probably someone who've been playing since beta or something, and who has a strong lead also to a strong league to help them get all the styles, because there's some styles you can only get playing elite versions of certain missions. So, and sadly, with certain missions, if you don't have a league to help you out, it's very difficult to do. But I'm sure there is someone somewhere who has all the costumes, like probably someone like Torikumu or Death Mike, maybe even Trexlight. Oh yeah.
Strong men cry. It's just so annoying. Can't they inject a spine to go with all that muscle? Now go find out where Bane's.
And there's usually a quest giver. I forget which side. Over here, I think.
For the good of his.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Never mind Bane's gang. It's those by-the-book Gotham cops who need a lesson. Too good to take on money, huh?
You mean Death from the Sandman? She was so cute.
That should keep most of that bad old venom off the streets. Now I wonder, what happens if you overdose on the stuff? Let's see if those venom.
No, I've been reading DC Comics pretty much forever.
Vicky Vale reporting.
And DC Universe Online I've been playing since
Often worn by Bane's street forces.
November 2011 or something. Basically, I started playing the game about like 4 weeks after the game went free to play. I played for free for about a week, maybe even less. And then, as soon as I could, I purchased the Batman Legend character. So I became premium after just a few days, maybe after a week at the most. And after about a month of playing the game, I decided to go legendary. I would have to say Raven. Technically Raven is pretty strong, but she's holding back quite a lot because she's afraid of losing control, because she has the evil of her father Trigon inside of her. So she's always afraid of cutting loose and basically being too evil. So usually she'll hold back at least a little. In theory, Zatanna could be more powerful because basically she can do anything. As long as she can say it backward, she pretty much can do anything she wants. But ultimately, at the end of the day, whoever's stronger depends on the writer. Whoever's writing the story, they decide who's the strongest. If they do a good job, usually they'll do some. They'll make it seem believable. Sometimes when they do a bad job, they'll turn into almost a fan fiction, where they'll make their favorite character OP, and they'll make their less favorite character not very powerful.
What happens if you overdose on the stuff? Let's see if those venom injectors go to 11.
My lighthouse is full of that disgusting venom. Just the
This character is an evil villain.
clear it out and I'll make it worth your while.
Ready grumble. Bane's holed up in the Cape Carmine lighthouse with the last of his venom.
Yeah, the the CW Supergirl. I should have purchased her when I had the chance. Next time.
And Killer Croc's inside. Falcone is actually paying him to take out Bane when everyone knows he'd do it for free.
Well, you can create a Batman character fairly easily. The only thing you really need is the Batman call. Everything else, the Batwoman Cape, you can get fairly easily from either the broker, or if somehow you cannot use the broker, you can, if you farm the Batwoman mission, sooner or later you will get the cape, but you may have to run it quite a lot though. So once you got the Batwoman cape, if you got the Batman call, you can make a pretty good version of Batman. And even if you don't purchase the Batman call on the marketplace, there is still the tier 2 Batman headpiece you can purchase from Batgirl. It's not quite the same, but it works well enough for a version of Batman that's fairly inexpensive to make. They've updated Superman. Sooner or later, they'll update to Rebirth with pretty much, I suspect, maybe, not sure if they'll do it with all the characters, but they'll do it at least for a whole bunch of them. So right now we got Superman, but we can expect later down the line Batman, Wonder Woman, and a lot of other characters in the game to be updated. But updating all the characters will take some time, so I assume they'll do it just a couple of characters at a time, and by, I don't know, next year maybe they'll have done them all. Oh, if you have all the iconic styles, that's nice. But there's a lot of styles that are sadly dependent on random chances. Like there's the Kryptonian style that you can get in the boxes, the treasure boxes in the Fortress of Solitude. Holy crap, I ran those missions at some point with my Magneto. Every week I would go back to the fortress, I would play the mission, and I never got the style with my Magneto character. I probably should have kept on farming, but I gave up at some point. Deathstroke, you can get it fairly easily. If you're talking about the Deathstroke chest piece, you can buy it from the broker. It's not that expensive, I think, from the broker. But if somehow, again, you cannot buy it from the broker, there's a mission that you can farm. A mission involving the Riddler that you can farm and eventually get the Deathstroke chest. Unless you're talking about the Deathstroke villain style that you can have in the Hall of Doom. Then yeah, that one is a bit trickier to get. Well, they're going to update the Wonder Woman character in the game, but I don't think they'll update the Noble Warrior style. That style will remain the same.
Don't hurt me.
Well, you get one Promethium log box every 6 hours or something.
Venom's wearing off.
250k for the flash boots. That's a good deal. The flash boots alone are usually 2 million. Again, I guess it depends on which server you're playing. And the emblem, it's been a while since I checked how much was the emblem, but it's at least a few millions easily. So if you got both for 250k, yeah, you did a good deal. Oh, okay. Then no idea.
Once I prove myself, Bane will give me Venom too.
could have sworn I forgot something. Or did I? I guess not. Yeah, the shirt bank is good for that. Basically, whenever I get a style with the Promethean lockboxes, I'll put a style in my shirt bank and then I see which character needs it the most. Usually by default, I'll give it to my multiverse character, because that's the character I use to recreate the styles for the videos that I make. But once in a while, I'll even if my multiverse character doesn't have it, I'll try to give it to the character that's most appropriate. What I wish we could have, I wish they would add the option to be able to purchase the style from certain characters. Because there are some styles that are way too hard to get. So trying to get them on multiple characters is a bit difficult.
Exclusive.
They did announce at some point that we would have the option to purchase, let's say, styles with our alternate character from our main character. So if we had already collected a style with our main, our alternate should be able to purchase those styles. But they never actually followed through with that. But someday, hopefully, they'll add that option. I suspect that if we ever get that option, it will not include styles from time capsules. But having that option for the other styles, that would be nice. The Android Batman headpiece is a good alternative if you don't have any other Batman headpiece. It allows you to create a nifty looking. It allows you to create a really nifty looking Batman, even if it's not an exact replica. It still looks kind of neat. Yeah, I'm the boss of my league. Basically, it's a league that I created with a handful of friends. Let's collect a few things. So it's a league I created years ago with a bunch of friends, and sadly, pretty much all my friends pretty much stopped playing since then. Although there's one who made some sort of comeback last week, 2 weeks ago.
Vicky Vale reporting.
But yeah, we have a pretty small league right now. So as you can see, I'm the only one logged in right now. But there's not that many of us. Basically, I invited. There's a few people who wanted to join the league, so I added them to the league some time ago. So once in a while, you'll see other members of the league. But it's technically it's a small league. Like most of the characters are my alternate characters, and I have like 50 characters.
And Killer Croc's inside. Falcone is actually paying him to take out Bane, when everyone knows he'd do it for free.
Just let me check the chat for a second.
Bane's entry in my gang war. I'll have to think of who to put in harm's way next. Two-Face, Hush, perhaps even The penguin. So many possibilities. Now run along and speak with Catwoman at the safe house, and we'll talk again soon. Ta-ta!
Oh, there's a back piece. Yeah, that's a shield. But it's a somewhat high-level Amazonian gear. There's also a couple of swords you can have. There's one where you have two swords. There's one where you have one sword. There's one when you have a slightly bigger sword, like almost a bastard sword or something, or not quite a great sword, but almost. Yeah, the broker, sadly, you have no control over that. People obviously are sadly, a lot of people are greedy by nature, and sadly, you almost have to be greedy yourself, because no one will sell you stuff for cheap. So you have to play the broker game yourself, and you have to sell items. If you want to be able to purchase the items you want, you have to sell the items you have yourself for a good price. Otherwise, you'll never be able to have the items that you want on the broker. So sadly, you pretty much have to play the broker game, but that means
transfer her consciousness into Wonder Girl's body. Wonder Woman and her
a nice weapon.
Go hit up Brother Blood.
Like right now, I'm trying to get the Ultraman Cape from the broker. Unless I'm lucky and I manage to get it from the mission where it drops. But odds are I'll have to purchase it from the broker. But right now, last I checked, it was about 140 million or something. So it'll take me quite a bit to get all that cash. Well, the Cyborg End Blasters are somewhat rare. So I understand if people are asking 1 million for it. Although 1 million, in the grand scheme of things, is not that much money. It's not that difficult to make 1 million. But there are items that are like 100 million. When that happens, yeah, then it gets a bit trickier. So let's see what next. Oh, I guess. Oh, we're going to go to the Hall of Doom. So we're going to be able to have our lair with this character. So let's go do that.
Society of supervillains. And you thought your villainy went unnoticed. Use the nearest teleport.
So sadly, this will be a boring video because we'll basically do the Hall of Doom missions. Oh yeah, at 500k, I'm not surprised. You probably should have put it at 1 million maybe. Let's go check.
Here it is, the Hall of Doom.
Let's start by collecting this.
Or maybe it's the air conditioning. They keep it low for Mr.
Oh, sorry, Azar. I didn't see you were leaving. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, we'll see you next time.
You're somehow still alive. You'll get a bang out of this tech wing. This is where you can spot badasses like Catwoman, Metallo, and the Flash's Rogues Gallery. Not to mention get the nastiest weapons and gear from the factional vendors. If it fires, explodes, or has pointy edges, they sell it.
Well, yeah, sadly with the broker, people are asking crazy prices for those. For items on the broker. So sadly, if you want to be able to purchase items on the broker, you pretty much have to play the broker game yourself. It's a bit sad, but that's sadly how it is.
As you've probably figured out, the Hall of Doom is like an enormous smorgasbord of deadly stuff.
You had 18 emblems? Oh, that's
If you haven't earned enough renown with the factions,
that's a lot of emblems.
they ain't selling.
Let's go check just for fun.
The bank, my favorite of the Hall of Doom, where the gear lives.
Well, if you get 18 emblems and manage to sell them all for 4 millions, you'll have a lot of money. Let's see how much the Flash emblem is right now. The prices you're going to see are on US PlayStation 4 or US PC. So obviously, if you're playing on the European servers, the prices will be different. 4.5 million for the Flash emblem. So yeah, at 500,000, very easy to understand why it's sold and right away. See, if I saw it like that, I would probably ask for like 4 millions for the Flash emblem, or 4 or 3.5, depending on how much I need cash. If I need cash right now, I would sell it for a 3.5. But if I can take a bit more time and if I don't need the cash right away, then I would probably put it at 4 million. It's a pretty popular emblem, and right now, seeing the current prices at 4 million at this time, it would sell sooner or later. So if you get, let's say you had 18 flash emblems, that's a lot of 4 millions that you could make with it. So let's continue. Oh, we have mail. Let's pick up our mail first. The penguin gave us a chest piece. He's so sweet. We already have the style. It doesn't matter. So let's continue. No, it's alright. At some point I was selling... at some point when I didn't really need money all that much, there are items that I was selling for very cheap. Like sometimes there's items that I could have sold for, let's say, 5,000, but I would sell them for 1,000 to give a chance to everyone to be able to get those items. And obviously, at those prices, the item, like, I would put it for sale, and like 30 seconds later, it would be gone. So once in a while, when I can afford to, I try to put items for cheap. And as a rule of thumb, I usually try to put items for cheap in the sense that if I see an item that's for sale at 1 million, I'll ask for half of that. In some cases, I mean, even go for like 1/3. If it's an item that's been available for a long time, then usually I'll ask for 1 million. If it's a new item, depending on the item, I'll ask for half of it, or maybe sometimes a little more. But also it depends on how much money I need. Now the armor for the Owlman, you have to buy it from the... I can show it to you. Well, technically you don't need that much money. Like if you want to have enough money to be able to buy colas and to repair your armor, you don't need that much money in order to be able to do that. But if you want to purchase the Owlman set of gear, there's two things, sadly, that you have to do. You have to go to the Earth 3 version of Gotham, and you have to go see this little guy over here. And you have to be combat rating 207. Like you can see right now, with this character right now, since I'm only level 19 or something, I can only purchase the Johnny Quick set of gear. I cannot purchase the Owlman set of gear. In order to be able to purchase the Owlman set of gear, you have to be combat rating 207, and you have to come and see this little fella over here. And obviously, you're going to need a whole bunch of Ultra Bucks to be able to purchase the gear. So if you want the Owlman set of gear, you have to be combat rating 207. So if you're low level like me, it will take quite a while before you can actually purchase the gear. The only thing you can purchase right now is the emblem, the Owlman emblem. So let's continue our little mission.
This is the Hall of Doom Armory. I say, just smell that bracing weapons-filled air. The Riddler is usually skulking around here with investigations to assign. So he tells riddles. His check's clear.
Let's start our friend the Riddler.
What unlocks meaning but isn't a key? A clue. And our world is full of clues, briefings, and collectibles. Calculators even rigged your interface to show color-coded markers when one's nearby. There's a quick investigation right here in the hall. Find it and come back to me.
I forget where we're supposed to go. Well, thank you, unknown player. There we go. I have like 400 team up capsules or something.
Members use occult forces for evil. They're mentored by the goddess Circe.
Ah, I should have stayed up there. If you need more team up capsules, you can buy some easily on the broker. There's still quite a few people who are selling those on the broker. Usually they're not that expensive, but it depends. Again, you like everything else, you have to shop around quite a lot on the broker. It's something that I always mention, but it's worth repeating. Go to the broker as often as you can. I'll often see people who complain that they cannot find good stuff on the broker or they cannot buy anything on the broker. But if you go to the broker as often as you can be lucky and get some good deals. For example, I made a video not too long ago with the what's it called? The Kryptonian aura that's just around the hands. And I was really lucky to get the last collection. I went to the broker, I saw it for $1, and obviously I bought it right away. So once in a while you'll get a really good deal like that. Either someone by accident put it up for $1 and he wasn't able to get it back before I purchased it. But that happens once in a while. It happened to me too. There's a few times when I clicked one click too many and sold items for $1. It happens. So when it happens to you, you don't go too crazy because you know that sooner or later someone else will do the same mistake and you'll be able to benefit from that. So it's I guess it's a give. Once in a while you make the mistake. Once in a while someone else make the mistake. Ultimately it evens itself. It evens out. See you later. Well, Bane, thanks for stopping by. Our friend Zoom.
The Hall of Doom hangar.
I'm surprised they didn't change the name to Reverse Flash
And Professor Zoom.
to match a bit more with the TV show.
He set up races all over the dang world, so if that's your thing, he's your psychopath.
Yeah, the materials are expensive to be able to craft the enhanced versions. Thank you, Zod. Much appreciated. And I hear something. My mistake, I suppose. Yeah, there's a few pieces that could work with an Azrael character. Maybe I should... thanks, Wolfsbay Mod. Maybe I should make an Azrael video sooner or later. I probably could make not just Azrael, but Asbat. I'm not sure. The Batman version of Azrael that... Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. There we go. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to go to the broker as often as you can, and once in a while you'll see a good deal. Like right now, I'm trying to find some Stalwart Defender chest for a few of my characters, and usually when like we got a whole new batch of new emblems. Usually when we get new emblems, the price for the Stalwart Defender goes up. Although I saw someone who tried to sell one for like 45 million. He's crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone bought it at that price. If you go there and there's no Stalwart Defender chest, and the only one you have is 45 million, sometimes you have no choice but to bite the bullet. I assume if someone who's really rich doesn't care about 45 million. Hello Multiverse. Hello Video Central. It's been a long day.
cars you chose. We rigged them here for the right price. With our brand new biological adjustment devices, or BAD, courtesy of LexCorp. BAD. Get it? B-A. Never mind.
So that should complete it. Not yet.
That concludes our basic tour. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hall of Doom. Watch
Oh
your
yeah,
step and
level
enjoy your
20.
stay. Now work hard and make the world a better place for villainy. We'll chat soon. Calculator out.
At work, it wouldn't be so bad if it didn't stop us from playing this universe online.
Hello there, mate. How have you been?
We should all be millionaires, so that way we could play this universe online every day, all day, and do nothing else.
Make history. And speaking of history, I'm in the business of collecting things. Old things.
Let's see how much the Stalwart Defender chest is right now.
Importantly, things with power. Ah, I got your attention. Good. Meet me at this secret location and I'll give you the details of this little arrangement.
Aw, there's no chest right now. I'm so sad. Sadly, that happens. Right now, we got a whole new batch of new emblems, and usually the price for the Stalwart Defender chest will go up at least a bit, because everyone wants to have a nice big emblem on their character. So obviously, everyone is trying to get the Stalwart Defender chest for their characters right now.
So, Calculator thinks you're ready to learn a few things from me, huh? Well, I'll be the judge of that.
A style video to give some ideas? Absolutely. I make style videos from time to time. I haven't made enough lately, but I'll try to make some more.
Just do as I say, and there won't be any conflicts of interest. So first things first. You'll need plans and the requisite components.
And usually, it takes a bit of time to figure out a cool style that would be fun to make. But I have one in the pipeline. I have one in the pipeline right now with the Censure on Nova Prime. I'll try to make it maybe later tonight. But once in a while, I'll try to make various videos about certain styles. Sometimes I'll just show an already existing style from DC Universe Online. Like, let's say I have a video about... I could have sworn there was a style nearby. Like, at some point, I made videos about the various styles we had in the Watchtower or the Hall of Doom. But also, from time to time, I'll make videos about how to recreate already existing characters. So whenever I get the chance, I'll try to make some style videos. So here we're going to play the vault with our little guy. And also Ambush Buck gave us a vault ticket, so we're going to be able to run the vault twice.
Welcome, one and all, to Joker's Room of Fun, Mayhem, and Prizes. What will it be? Something to flatten your opponents? Or just some useless crap? Who knows? You pays your money and you take
What a kidder, Wolf's Bay mod.
the presents and get your prizes.
So as you can see, we can still get the some of the items for the Thanksgiving. Not sure when they're going to remove those. Probably when they had the winter seasonal. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Which shouldn't be too long. I think the winter seasonal will start early December. I forget the actual date. So I guess about 1 week. So here, we're already inside the vault. So we're going to save ourselves a loading screen, because we're going to come back here anyway. So instead of exiting, then using the ticket, then coming back here, I'm going to use the ticket right now. So that way, I'm going to save myself one loading screen. Oh, and we don't have a robot. Sadly, the Lexical robot you can get as soon as you zone out, no more robot.
Mayhem and prizes. What will it be? Something to flatten your opponents? Or just some useless crap? Who knows? You pays your money and you takes your chances. Break the presents and get your prizes.
Oh, we got a bunch of ant metal. That's nice. Not sure why. Sometimes you just get a few. Sometimes you get a whole bunch of them. Probably just a random number generator that is more generous than others sometimes.
That's it.
So I guess we're done with that. Sadly, right now the Stalwart Defender chest is nowhere to be found on the broker. Again, everyone seems to be buying it, thanks to the new emblems that we got. Oh.
Yep, there you go. Now that you have a theme for your
Not on
base,
this
you
character.
need to get a deed.
Only have a handful of
These are
characters
used
that
to
have
actually grant
materials.
base ownership and select a location for the entrance.
My favorite mission in this game? Hard to tell. Well, that's the weird thing about this Universe Online. For a long time, this Universe Online was working really hard to pretty much prevent us from being able to recreate DC characters. But somehow, they had no problem with us creating Marvel characters. You could easily create a Captain America, an Iron Man, a Deadpool. At some point, there was like a billion Deadpool in this Universe Online. And even when I started making videos, I thought it would be a cool idea to use the Wolverine. So I created a Wolverine character and I started making videos with that character. Because in my mind, I thought it would be uber cool to have, I don't know, the Wolverine fight the Batman in certain missions, or fight side by side with the Batman. Like I would see that as some sort of Marvel DC crossover. Sadly, I came to realize that not everyone thinks that. Basically, there's this. I couldn't help. I had to realize that there's this huge cleavage between the Marvel fans and the DC fans. Personally, I'm a fan of both. I'm a comic fan or I'm a superhero fan, depending on how you want to phrase that. So I see myself pretty much as a Marvel fan or as a DC fan. But I had to come to terms with the fact that there is a pretty big cleavage between the Marvel fans and the DC fans. And sadly, basically, DC fans were insulted that I was using a Marvel character like Wolverine in this Universe Online. And Marvel fans were insulted that I was using a Wolverine character in a DC game. So either it was a lose-lose situation. So you'll notice that I play less and less with Marvel characters. Once in a while it'll happen, but it's only a really once in a while thing. And nowadays I try to stick with only mostly DC characters or DC related characters, if it makes sense. Like for example, there's this character called the Phantom, who's not really a DC character, but he was published by DC for a bit. There was a 4-issue miniseries, and then there was an ongoing series that sadly only lasted, I think, 12 issues or something. So let's see, what kind of base should we give to our friend Owlman? I guess the Batcave could be an option, but let's go for the No, I don't think that'll ever happen. If you want it, you have to be lucky and get it in a Prometheum logbox, or you have to buy it from a broker. It's sad, but that's how it is. Let's go for the Gothic lair, and let's see, where could we get it? Oh, I don't have what it takes. I'm so sad. Actually, before we do that, so right now our character reached level 20, so let's start by, the first thing we'll do, we'll upgrade his gear. Like you can see, we have this little box here. It should allow us to upgrade the gear of our character, so let's do that. And you can see we get a box that will allow us to do the same at level 25. Hello, Alan. So let's take that little box, put it here, and let's get started. I'm not sure if I should go for... let's stick with controller gear. The sewer lair? I'm using it already with my Red Hood character, but yeah, I guess I could... I'll give it some thoughts. Sorry if I'm going a little slow. Basically, sometimes the controller gear is on top, sometimes it's at the bottom, and once in a while I'll select the... If I go too quick, I'll select the wrong gear. So I'm just trying to be a bit careful. So that's... Oh, there's still a nick piece. And let's get ourselves a new weapon. Thank you, Alan. Much appreciated. Okay, before using the deed, I'm going to play the artifact mission. Basically, once you reach level 20, you gain access to the artifacts Oblivion bar. So let's do that right now. It will give us a few marks of victory, so that should allow me maybe to purchase a more expensive base. We'll see. Yeah, I was thinking of maybe going with the Gothic lair.
There you are. I was starting to think you weren't interested in power beyond your wildest dreams. At the very least, we need to get these artifacts out of the hands of the monsters that carry them. You in or you out, mate?
Somehow the Gothic lair makes some sort of sense for an owl-based character.
Now, let me check my shopping list. So, I've got a lead on a few artifacts. First stop, we're going to hell. I mean, why save it for last? Let's just jump right in, eh, mate? I'm pretty sure they're keeping my seat warm. Let's go.
Aww. And for you, those of you who don't know, there's a repair machine here if you need it. Probably shouldn't have, but nah, what the heck.
We're after the rings of Azar. Pretty little things.
Let's pull back a bit. Oh yeah. I think it's the first time I do this mission with a level 20 character. So far it's not too bad. It's a little hard to do it by episodes, but I'll see what I can do. The problem with doing it by episodes is that for 8-player missions, you have no choice but to either have a group or queue for the mission.
I will finish you off myself.
But I'll see what I can do about making some sort of tutorial per episode. That's a good that's a good suggestion. Thanks a lot. Yeah, this seems to be trying to do the bridge between the Earth 3 DLC and the Anti-Monitor event. The question we have right now is that we don't know if the Anti-Monitor event will remain an event, or if they'll make it a DLC and an event. Not unlike what they did with the Earth 3 DLC. I guess we're going to find out January 3rd.
Next stop is the lovely suburb of Oa. In the old days, it would have been a real trick getting across the galaxy, but now old Johnny Boy's got Sector O on speed dial. Last one there's a duffer.
Didn't realize John Constantine was so tall. Yeah, I was a bit of a slacker last year when we had the Anti-Monitor event. Basically, I didn't purchase any Anti-Monitor gear, or I may have purchased maybe one piece. So I should really, this year I'm gonna have to focus a bit more on that and try to get the whole set. We'll see how it works out.
The Guardians and their green lanterns are usually more
basically, the artifacts, you just equip it in your slot all the way down here. And depending on the artifacts, you don't really have to do anything to activate them. Other than there's one artifact that the controller artifact. Basically, you activate it when you use your group power heal, and what it does really is that it gives your character, or it gives your whole group, a little bit of extra health. I'll make a video specifically about that. The sad thing is that before I could do that, I had to upgrade my artifact past rank 80. So I did that just today. You may have seen my earlier video. So look forward for a video maybe later tonight or tomorrow about the artifacts, and I'll try to explain a bit more how the artifacts actually work. But technically, you don't really have to do anything. You just equip it in that little slot down here. You upgrade it as much as you can, and it should pretty much take care of itself. But in a few cases, you have to do something specific. So I'll try to cover all the artifacts. So now I was able to upgrade my controller artifacts enough to be able to explain how it works. So I'll look forward for that, for at least that artifact. And in the long term, I'll try to do all the artifacts, but it will take me a little bit before I can do them all. Okay, let's go see our friend Glomulus.
Mine and mine and mine! Mine!
Oh, let's summon all our brand, why not?
You beat me!
Glomulus is going psycho.
You hurt Globulus!
Since you're such a fan of gallivanting across the universe, I picked a very special location for our next expedition. I don't want to spoil the surprise.
But the way they leaked the end of the Earth 3 DLC with the Anti-Monitor event was pretty sweet. Because basically, in Crisis on Infinite Earth, that's pretty much how it starts. You have the Anti-Monitor wave that is pretty much destroying Earth 3 and the Crime Syndicate. So having the Crime Syndicate lead into more or less what is the Crisis on Infinite Earth version of DC Universe Online, that was pretty cool. I would say Troll. Troll is what I play the most.
That's a thing of beauty.
And whenever I play another role, I often play it as if it was a Troll, in the sense that I'll use crowd controls, even if I'm playing a healer or DPS. So pretty much the controller is pretty much how I learned how to play roles, and I'll have a tendency sometimes to play even other roles as if I was playing a controller. So I would have to say Troll. It's the role I've played the most. It's the role I understand the most. Although once you understand the Troll, it's pretty easy to understand the healer. A lot of the skills you gain playing a Troll can be applied to a healer. The only distinction is that instead of looking, let's say for the Troll, let's say you have to keep an eye on the power bar. Although you also have to keep an eye on the health bar, come to think of it. So as a Troll, you have to look for the power bar, you have to look for the health bar, you have to look where all the group is. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to look for when you play as a controller. And then when you play as a healer, pretty much everything you need to look for, you still need to look for all of those things as a healer. The main distinction is then you have to decide, do you need to cast a heal for 4 players, for 3 players, for 8 players?
I'll die.
Well, yeah, I suppose the controller is pretty much my role, or the role I prefer. I'm not sure why they don't just give us the Batman emblem or the Superman emblem, let's say, in the marketplace. There has to be a reason. At least I hope there is a good reason. But the truth is, we don't really know.
I'm not leaving empty-handed, so let's grab it and get out of here before we draw the eye of Darkseid.
Or at the very least, they should give us those emblems in time capsules, because I understand that they're trying to monetize those emblems, and that's fine. I'm not against DC Universe Online making some money, but I always wonder why don't they give us the Superman emblem? There's no real reason. Maybe there is a copyright reason somehow. Maybe they have to pay extra for, I don't know, certain things, and iconic emblems. It could be something they have to pay extra for. I have no idea. I'm pretty much spitballing here. I'm speculating, But the truth is, we don't really know why it seems to be so difficult for them to just give us the emblems. Again, I'm not even asking for them to give it for free. Have them put the emblem on a marketplace so that we can buy the emblem, or have them put the emblem in time capsule so that we can buy the time capsules to get the emblem. Have them monetize the emblem. I don't mind, but at least give us the option to be able to have the emblem. I'm a bit fortunate because basically as soon as we got the BVS emblems, I purchased those emblems. So unlike some people who were not so fortunate, I've had the Batman emblem and the Superman emblem for years now. But I easily understand all the people who weren't able to purchase the emblem at that time. I can understand their frustration not to be able to have a Batman emblem or a Superman emblem. Right now, they somewhat fixed the issue with the Batman emblem. At the very worst, you can have the Batman Rebirth emblem. Hopefully, we'll get the Superman Rebirth emblem sooner rather than later.
I don't know who you punks are, and I don't care. You mess with the mage, you get the force.
Oh, that's someone our old friend. Oh, I would love the Red Sun Superman emblem. That's the thing though. They could make a whole bunch of emblems based around Superman. Even the Superman emblem. Like they could have the classic Superman emblem from the 30s. Then they could have a few variations they had through the years, and then they could have which is pretty much the classic Superman emblem, or even the Rebirth Superman emblem. And they could have also a whole bunch of variations, like the Red Sun Superman emblem. So there's so many. They could have some Zod emblems. They could have the Bizarro emblem. So there's a whole bunch of emblems of Superman related emblems that they could have. And the same holds true with Batman, with Wonder Woman, with a whole bunch of characters. So here it would be tempted to go with the Might artifact. Basically, there's this artifact that whenever you hit an enemy with superpowers, you give extra might to the whole group. But I'll stick to the controller artifact, and I'll get the might artifact a bit later. Well, yeah, there's a whole bunch of Kryptonian emblems they could have in the game. So there's a whole bunch of stuff they could do, but somehow they don't want to do it. And you have to wonder why. There's no real reason not to do it. But again, there might be some restrictions that they have with DC Comics that we don't know about. That's the only explanation I can think of, because otherwise, why not have a Superman emblem that people could purchase?
Bollocks. Do I look like your mum?
So in case you don't know, if you want to purchase extra artifacts other than like John Constantine gives you your very first artifact, but if you want to have any more after that, you can purchase more artifacts to Constantine afterwards. So here we're going to upgrade our artifact, and then we're going to be able to break through rank 20. So if we talk to our friend Constantine, he's going to give us what we need, the Electrum we need to break through rank 20. So let's do that. So as you can see, we have 100% chance of success. So it doesn't matter if we use a seal in this case. So let's just break through. But yeah, they could make a whole bunch of Superman emblem. Not sure why they don't seem to want to.
If you feed them the right things, it will make them stronger. The best fuel for these little beasties are things like sunstone and krypton.
And the same with Batman. There's like a half a dozen Batman emblem they could release easily. Personally, I wish we had the classic Batman emblem with the yellow oval, but sadly we don't have it just yet. Maybe someday, maybe in a future, it'll probably be in a future time capsule, obviously.
What will it be? Something to flatten your opponents? Or just some useless crap?
But if we ever manage to get the classic Batman emblem, I'm going to be a happy guy doing the happy dance, at least for a while.
That's it. Game's over. Step along, nothing to see.
And again, they could have a whole bunch of emblem for the Superman emblem or the House of L. They could have a whole bunch of emblems for Zod. They could have. So as you see, we got our first seal of preservation from our friend Constantine, and there's a whole bunch of gear we don't really need anymore. So let's go and sell a bit of stuff we don't really need. But yeah, the various Kryptonian houses, they could make emblems about those. So as you can see, I have a few all related items that I'm dying to be able to put in my lair. But first, we're going to need... Oh, I didn't want to sell that. And as you can see, the gear you get from the purple little box every 5 level, it's $1,400 for each piece. So it gives a nice bit of cash to your character when he's starting. So basically, this is the gear you get from the starter pack. So if you ever get the starter pack, every 5 levels, you will have a whole set of gear to be able to sell. And as you can see, we have $89,000 right now. So let's see about using our deed to be able to get our lair. And I'm already using the sewer lair with the Red Hood, so I'll just go with the Gothic for this one. And I'm very tempted to go to Arkham Asylum. So that's why I did basically the mission for the artifact. The artifact mission gives you a handful or two of marks of victory. So it gave me basically the 25 marks of victory I needed in order to be able to purchase the lair over there. I guess I could take a look first. Is there somewhere else that would be more appropriate? I guess not. I guess there could be the amusement mile, but I prefer the Arkham Asylum one. So let's go. Let's put our lair all the way over here.
Congratulations. You are now... This is your mainframe, the nerve center of your lair. You can use it to gain access to powerful tools like orbital strikes, henchmen, and powerful equipment mods. Your mainframe's power is maintained here as well, so be sure to keep it up so you can access the more powerful features. This is your dispenser, where you'll pick up the items that you've chosen in the mainframe, such as communicators for your henchmen and orbital strikes. Finally, this is your base's control panel. It's used to enter decoration mode, alter some of the colors of your base, and for other diabolical purposes.
We can see our nice all emblem, and that's sweet. So it should give us a few base items, so let's consume those. And as you can see, I have a few items like some statues, some Owlman thingies. So I will have a few things to decorate my lair afterwards. It's stuff that I've got with my other characters. So basically, usually what I'll do is that I'll redistribute the base items that I get to my various characters.
While in decorator mode, you can place your items at the appropriate markers. While
So
most
let's put
base
one
items are just
here.
for show, there are amenities you can
Let's put
acquire
one
that have
here.
very specific functions like bank,
Let's
mail,
put one
and
here.
broker access. However, Amenities can only be placed.
This is the only
specific
time I'm going to use
markers.
those emblems.
Once you have filled up
Hello,
those
face money.
markers, you will unlock free placement mode and be able to place base items almost anywhere. That's the gist of it. I'm sure you'll figure out even more tricks to your base. Have fun decorating. Remember, make it evil. And don't forget to try placing those items.
For DPS, actually I've been meaning to make a Quantum Troll and a Quantum DPS video. So I'd say to keep an eye out. I'll try to make those maybe later tonight or tomorrow. Sadly, I have a whole bunch of videos I want to make. But roughly speaking, obviously you're going to want to use Time Bomb, but Time Bomb against mobs, it's not that useful. Oh, let's not put it here. Time Bomb is much better used against bosses. Against mobs, sadly, way too often Time Bomb will explode. By the time Time Bomb explodes, all the mobs are dead. So it's a little bit tricky to use it against mobs. You pretty much have to use it at the very start of the fight as your first move, and even then, very often enemies will be all defeated before your Time Bomb does a single point of damage. But I do have a loadout that works fairly well on my multiverse character. So again, I would say I'll try to make the video tonight if I can. And so you should be able to, tonight or tomorrow, you should be able to have a video that sort of explain how to play as a Quantum DPS a bit. Again, it's how I play as a Quantum DPS. I'm sure there are people who would have maybe a different opinion on how to properly play it. But obviously, ideally, you need Time Bomb to be able to do extra damage, at least with bosses. Let's see. Let's go with that. That should do it. Okay, so I guess our next missions will be to go fight. I could have sworn that. Oh, I forgot to go back to Self and the Riddler. Oh, I'm so sad now.
Go hit up Brother Blood in the safe house for more info.
No, not really. Yes, you could do that. Technically, you could do that, but it's a bit of a waste. Although if you have extra armories that you're not really using, sure, you could take that route. Give me a second. I'll make a video about that soon. But if you give me a second, I'll load my multiverse character, and I'll give you a quick tip or two. Just let me go see the Riddler before I forget. And against weaker enemies, it doesn't really matter if you don't use a Time Bomb. I'll show it to you in a minute.
Nicely done. As a villain, you must know this riddle. What's the difference between a jeweler and a jailer? One sells watches, the other watches sells. As for me, I watch you. So don't be surprised if I reward your...
So I will quickly load my multiverse character. I'll show you a trick, one or two trick very quickly. But then I'd suggest keep an eye out. I'll try to come up with a quantum video soon. I shouldn't say tonight because odds are tonight there's the Crisis on Earth X crossover, so I'm not sure how much time I'll have to make videos tonight. Oh, and I got mail. I'll check my mail later. So let's go to where we can fight enemies. So let's go to the Earth 3. So technically, yeah, you could have one armory for bosses and one armory for weaker enemies. Although, usually what I'll do is that I'll have one armory for, let's say, to play as a controller, and one armory with certain debuffs that I don't always need. So let's go find ourselves a few enemies to fight, and I'll explain. This is how I play. I'm not claiming that it's the best ultimate quantum way to play, but it works well enough for me. So roughly the loadout that I'm using with this character. Basically, there's Time Bomb, there's a Singularity, there's Lift, there's Gravity Well, there's Quantum Tunneling, and there's Inspiral Waves. Technically, I wanted to have a Supercharge, but sadly, after trial and error, this is pretty much the loadout I came up with, and it works well enough. I want Gravity Well to have some sort of crowd control, but I also have a Singularity, and I think Gravity Well and Singularity works well together. I'll show it to you why in just a minute. And also what I do is that basically the cooldown of some of those abilities is a bit too long, but the cooldown of Inspiral Wave is pretty quick. So you'll see that basically what I do is that, let's say this is power 1, power 2, power 3, power 4, power 5, and power 6. So usually what I'll do is that I'll start with power 2, then I'll cast power 6, then I'll cast power 3, then I'll go back to power 6 again, and then I'll start with power 2, and then I'll restart the whole cycle again. 6, 3, 6, 2. 6, 3, 6, 2. Basically, that's the most effective way I found. And once in a while, I'll use Gravity Well when needed. The cooldown of Gravity Well is long enough. Is pretty long sometimes. So usually I'll use a Singularity to get started when Gravity Well is not working so well or is on cooldown. But it doesn't make sense, but I'll show it to you right now. So basically, I would start, let's say, with Gravity Well, then Singularity, and then I'll alternate it. You can pretty much see the order that I use for each power. The reason also why I'm using those is that Singularity, enemy becomes a graviton charge, making them vulnerable to gravitational fluctuation, and Inspiration Waves, graviton charge enemy takes additional damage, and the same with Lift. The problem with Lift is that, let's try and find ourselves. Oh. You can see the cooldown with Lift is a little long, as opposed to with Inspirational Wave, it's almost instantaneous. Basically, if I really wanted to, I could almost spam this until the end of days, if I really wanted to. But basically, I prefer to alternate a bit. And let's assume my Gravity Well is on cooldown. Then I would start with Singularity, and then I would go through the motion. And let's try it with Time Bomb now. You're going to see why I don't really use Time Bomb against mobs. So let's start with Time Bomb, and then I'll start my cycle. The first thing is that sometimes enemies will move around, so they'll sometimes get out of range with Time Bomb, and they pretty much were all dead by the time Time Bomb exploded. So Time Bomb, keep Time Bomb on your loadout because it doesn't really matter, even if you don't use it. Basically, I use the 3 powers, 4 when I use Gravity Well. And also the reason why I like using Gravity Well and Singularity, I'm trying to find maybe I could try with those. So roughly, Singularity will attract the enemies into the gravity well. So that's why I like to use both powers together. So if I have some enemies that are just a tiny bit to the outside of Singularity, they get pulled back outside of the gravity well. They get pulled back into the well thanks to Singularity. So roughly, if you are fighting enemies like these guys, there's no point into using Time Bomb. You can just spam through them pretty quickly. But if you really want to, sure, you can start with Time Bomb, and then you go through the rest of the loadout. But odds are, oh, it will do a bit of damage here. So if you want Time Bomb to have a chance of doing damage, you have to do it right off at the start of the fight. But usually, enemies are pretty much dead before Time Bomb explodes. But somehow, today Time Bomb is making a liar out of me. It seems to be doing at least a bit of damage. But usually, roughly, you don't really need a Time Bomb. As you can see, you can pretty much blend through enemies pretty quickly. So that's the way I play it. I'm sure some people who claim to be a quantum expert may have a different opinion or a different loadout that they prefer to use. But this loadout works well enough for my character. And also it's a loadout that I pretty much always use when I play solo or when I play duos. And when I play 4-player missions, I always play as a controller. So usually with groups, it's not an issue. I always play as a controller. And usually I'm the only controller in the group, so that's another thing. But for DPS, well, I usually play either by myself or playing a duo. And this loadout works more than well enough. And also, I'm not even using DPS gear. I'm using controller gear. Because it's already oh, I forgot, I'm missing a mod. Oh, I'm so sad now. It's enough work just to gather one set of gear. I don't even want to start worrying about gathering a DPS set of gear. So with a DPS set of gear, you would actually be more powerful because you would have extra might to do more damage with your powers. But again, as you can see, it works well enough with just the controller gear. And as a rule of thumb, I only play DPS when I play solo. Or if we play in a group and people ask me to switch to DPS, I have no issue to do so. But also, I don't worry if I'm the top guy, I don't worry if I'm at the top of the scoreboard or not. As long as we can finish the mission, I'm usually a happy guy. And even then, once in a while, I still manage to be at the top. So I'm glad if this was really helpful. So again, just as a quick recap. So basically, Time Bomb, when I'm fighting bosses, then yeah, I'll use Time Bomb. Basically, whenever the cooldown for Time Bomb expires, you cast it right away. There's no real reason to wait. And then you go through the motion. So usually, I'll start usually with Gravity Well, then I'll go with Singularity, then Inspiral Waves, Lift, Inspiral Waves, Singularity, Inspiral Waves, Lift. So I'll alternate like that. And usually, and if my Gravity Well is on cooldown, then I'll start with Singularity, Inspiral Waves, Lift, Inspiral Waves, Singularity, Inspiral Waves, Lift. So I go like that. Yeah, R&D is worth it. Basically, if you don't want to waste too much time crafting, like obviously if you want to craft like some, there's various mods that if you want to craft them, it will require you a lot of components. Let's take a quick look. So at some point when you have more than enough components, sure. And also if you have, the thing is at some point you change your gear a lot. But once you start purchasing the vendor gear, like right now I have the owl boots and I have the owl helmet. Ideally, I should try to get the elite version of those. But once you get the vendor gear, then you can start thinking about putting some more powerful mods. But as you can see right now, I'm still using beta mods. So at the very least, what you could do is get at least beta mods in your gear. But if you really want to craft some more powerful mods, like right now, the most powerful mods we have are the new Justice mods. But as you can see, it requires a whole lot of stuff to craft those mods. Although at some point, like you can see, I have a lot of fortified exhibits, and these are just the exhibits that my character has right now. I have so many more of those in my in my bank that I could craft a bunch of mods if I really wanted to. The only issue with the mods is the essence purifier. Those are a little pricey to purchase. They're 5 marks of victory each. So usually I prefer to use my marks of victory to purchase a whole bunch of other stuff. But sooner or later I'm gonna have to stop being crazy and purchase some essence purifier to start crafting some mods. So the only reason why I didn't craft some endgame mods is because I need a whole bunch of essence purifier and I don't have enough of those just yet. But at the very least you could have better mods. And if you match the color of your mods with the color of your gear, you can see it gives the socket affinity bonus. So even if I have a dominance beta, which gives me 106 dominance, oh, I should get out of here. The character is there's a few things that messes up the mods. Oh, let's get out of here. Where's the exit? Oh, silly me. Basically, some of the maps raise the level of your character, and as you saw, it messes up the mods a bit. So let's start again. That makes more sense. So as you can see, even though my dominance beta gives me only 8 dominance, it allows me to get the socket affinity bonus, which is 35 vitalization. So just for that, it's worth it to have at least a beta mod in your gear. And the beta mod, the advantage of that is that it's very easy to craft, it doesn't cost a lot to craft, and you can get it back and put it back into another piece of gear to infinity using some alpha recovery kits. So you use the alpha recovery kit to get your mod back, craft a new mod, put it in your gear, and you can do that forever with a beta mod. Like here you can see, even though the mod is only a vitalization beta, giving 5 vitalization, it gives my character 421 power because I have the socket affinity. So basically, just having beta mods will allow you to have the socket affinity. But once you can, sure, if you can craft some better mods, there's no reason not to. Once you have enough components, sure, you can craft some mods. But usually, try to do that for pretty much end game gear and pretty much for the top gear. Otherwise, until you reach the top gear, you replace your gear quite a lot, and you're going to end up wasting your mods, or you're going to have to end up using a whole bunch of total recovery kit, and you don't want to do that. It can get expensive really fast. So ideally, you wait to have at least the top mod, or at least the vendor mod, the top gear, or at least the vendor gear, and then you can put a good mod in that piece of gear, because usually the vendor gear will last you at least a bit, as opposed to the other gear that you're going to replace constantly. Like right now, you can see the item level of my boots are 195. There's only one other pair of boots that is better than that, and it's the elite boots. And it'll probably take a while before I get any elite gear. So I went with a type 7 expert mod in here. As opposed to my pants, or pretty much most of my gear, you can see my gear is 191, 192, 191. 191. So those I will replace with some 195 gear slowly but surely. So it would be pointless to put some good mods in here. Although you can still do it if you have enough mods that you can quote unquote waste, you could still put some good mods into gear that you're going to replace pretty quickly. Why do you want the martial arts move to change? I thought they worked well enough. So it made sense for the mods, and I hope it made sense for the quantum power. But I will try to make a proper quantum video soon. No, I'm even me have to sometimes purchase some from the broker because basically there's I understand why you need some. There's so much crafting that has been added to the game. Yeah, I'll say what I can do about making loadout videos. There's so much crafting that has been added to the game that even I use more material than I can get easily. So at some point, usually I end up biting the bullet and purchasing components. And even then, I still have quite a lot of crafting to do with my multiverse character. A bit earlier this summer, I went through a phase where I did a lot of crafting. So I farmed for crafting materials, and I crafted a whole bunch of enhanced set of gear. But at some point, I got a little burnt out from farming, so I stopped doing that for a bit. But at some point, I should probably do a whole bunch of farming again to try to craft whatever enhanced gear I still need to craft with my multiverse. But yeah, progress report. I'll see what I can do about making loadout videos. The thing is, in order to make a loadout video that makes some sort of sense, I have to learn the loadouts myself, and I have to learn basically we had Game Update 73 last summer, and I pretty much had to relearn all the powers and basically relearn how all the loadouts. So I'm doing that slowly but surely. Quantum is the one that I've been playing more than enough that I'm quite confident in suggesting a loadout to people. But for some of the other powers, I would have to play them at least a bit more before I can suggest a loadout. At least I could probably start suggesting controller loadout because I understand the controller well enough. And so even though I played mostly Quantum controller, all the other controllers I can pretty much play more or less the same way I play my Quantum controller. There's a few variations with each power, but I'll see what I can do about at least coming up with some videos about the Quantum controller loadout to get started. And but slowly I'll try to make videos about various loadouts when I get the chance. What happened with the Starro? Starro is just I'm not sure. Just give me a second. Basically, the Star Wars event was in April, May, around that time. Let us check. We're going to go to our let's switch to this here.
Hey, look who it is!
Basically, we had the Star Wars event, I think last May, last April, I forget, where we had a few Star Wars related items we could get, like that nice shoulder piece and that nice aura. And if we look at the crafting, no, just tell me what your character name is, and I'll see what I can do. So as you can see, I still have a whole bunch of, like right now we just had the visitor gear and a whole bunch of emblems that were added to the game. So it will take me a while to be able to craft all of that. And even the Green Lantern set of gear, I still have a few pieces to craft here. And of course, I even still have a whole bunch of stuff from the Gotham Time capsule to craft. So they've added a whole bunch of oh, that's your character name? Okay. So they've added a whole bunch of crafting with the time capsules. I was able to do most of it, but if we look here, this is pretty much all the stuff I was able to craft. But as you can guess, it did require a whole lot of materials to be able to do all that. And so at some point, even I was running out of complex and simple material. I had to buy some from the broker, and even then, I don't think I have enough. Like you can see, all the stuff I still need to craft, and I don't think I would have enough material to be able to craft all of those still. So it's a work in progress somehow. No, I didn't read Doomsday Clock just yet. I've heard mixed things about that, so we'll see. But yeah, the Star Wars event will come back. We have the Anti-Monitor event that will come back in January. We can be pretty much guaranteed that the Star Wars event will come back also. So let's see about adding our friend progress report. Oh, there you are. So let's give you the permission to enter and to use the amenities. And there you go. So I think that's going to be it for now, guys. Don't forget, tonight we have the first half of the Crisis on Earth X crossover. If I'm not mistaken, tonight there's a Supergirl and there's Arrow. These are going to be the first two parts of the crossover. From what I understand, they're moving Arrow to Monday so that the whole event can be Monday and Tuesday. So I suspect we won't have any Arrow episode on Thursday. Oh, you're going to be able to play it. It will come back. Don't worry. It's not even a matter of if. It's pretty much a matter of when. Let's go to. So tonight there's going to be the first part of the Crisis on Earth X crossover. So technically a 2 hour episode, sort of, because it's going to be two episodes: one episode of Supergirl and one episode of Arrow. I guess I'm gonna have to do it the hard way. And if you gotta go, why not go all the way? Oh, no problem. Progress report. I don't mind sharing my base. And a bit later tonight, I'll probably try to decorate. You guys were wondering about some style. Like, this is one of the next video I should make about how to make the center on Nova Prime in this universe online. I don't have the Onyx Skull myself. Sorry about that. Right now, well, let's go to our other base. I have a lot of more armories. I have basically you can have 4 armory per base, and you can have up to 4 bases. The fiction speedster is jealous. Like here you have, basically I'm working a Hawk and Dove video, but these are the only two styles I was able to make for those. Johnny Quick, I'm still missing about half the style, so not yet. And I'm trying to find a few, to come up with a few Owlman armories, Owlman look. Oh, I'll show you. Oh no, I lost the friction speedster. That seems to be... No. Are you playing on US servers, Friction? Or did I make a typo that I didn't notice? The frick... Oh, Frickton. Okay, I see. Aha, I'll show you. Basically, I'm saving for this here. Oh, no problem, Frickton. I'll try to add you to my other bases in just a bit. But what I'm saving for is this right here. Holy crap, it's 155 right now. It's the Ultraman Cape. As you can see, it's mighty expensive. So I would have to either play the elite version of the mission and be lucky to get it, because from what I understand, it's a rare. Ooh. I'm sorry, I got distracted for half a second. So basically, from what I understand, it's a rare item. So you have to first be able to play the elite version of the mission, which is not that simple. And also you have to be lucky to get it. And as you can see, right now it's about 155 million. Why do I want that? Come on, how can you ask such a question? I'll show you how. Let's switch to this armory. Let's tweak our cape a bit. Come on, come on. Let's put this yellow, this red. Take two. Oh, I'll say it in just a second. Come on. It's the coolest cape they've created in quite a while. I have to have that cape. So basically that's what I'm saving for. So you can see at 24 million, I'm way short. And how to switch? Basically it's with this little thingy here. You can see, here you can basically see all my armories. So let's say I would like to switch this armory. And use, let's say, this one. That's how you can switch your armories. So basically, you can have only 4 at a time, but you can switch them as needed. So whenever you go back to your lair, you could decide, okay, I'll take this and this and this armory. So you can pretty much reselect all the armories you want. You're going to give me 20 million? Ah, you're so sweet. And let's see, Eric 2. And there you go, buddy. I'm going to do something that will make my life easier to try to add you guys. So let's add Eric to here. And let's add oh, wrong one. When I click too many, that's what happens. There we go. Not really. You're so sweet. Thank you, progress report. It's not a waste because basically having all those armories allow me to prepare some style ahead of time when I want to make videos. And also some styles, like you can see here, sometimes it'll take a while before I can actually complete a style, or I'll need multiple armories sometimes to rework certain styles. So it allows me to have like a whole bunch of different styles that I'm working on at the same time. And once those styles are finally ready, then I can start making videos about those. Yeah, I have my own hero league and my own villain leagues. Although I made those leagues with friends. So basically here it took me a while to not really come up with those styles, but to basically whenever I create a new style or a new armory like that. But well, technically, let's activate the appearance. But then as I'll create more or less the character I want. But then I'll try to fine tune it if it makes sense. Someday if it works. Basically, in order to be able to find the best piece I need to recreate the look, I'll have to go through all the styles I have. And as you can see, I have a lot of styles. Like it'll be more obvious if I go to the chest piece. Like I have 31 pages of chest pieces. So sometimes I'll have to... sometimes creating certain looks will require a lot of work, and I'll have to go through a lot of styles to try to find the better piece of gear I need or the better style I need to be able to work to recreate the style I need. So Eric Bad. There you go. Sorry, I lost a part of the conversation. Just give me half a second. If we have a deal, if I make your base look good, not sure how really I could do that. I guess I would have to give you base items, But if you're going to give me 20 million, you may as well just purchase the base items you need from the broker, because basically that's what I do. I play the broker a lot. I go to the broker anytime I get the chance. Anytime I go to one of my base where I have the broker. This is not my Owlman character, but yeah, my Owlman character uses a gadget. Just give me a second. Basically what I do, I go, whenever I get the chance, I go to the broker, look at base items. If I see some good stuff, I'll buy it. Like, for example, I just purchased a nice Ultraman statue. So when I see some items, either some rare items that are not available all that often, or some items at a low price, I'll buy them right away. You can do it. Basically, all you really need to do is you go to your panel, enter decoration mode, and then you can place whatever items you have. It takes a bit of time and a bit of patience, but yeah, you can do it. The thing is, you have to go through all your items, unless if you know what the item is called, then you could go here. Let's say Ultraman. Oh, I don't have any. Let's say a table. Do I have a table? So if you want to look through for a specific item, ideally type in the name, and then you should be able to find it more easily. So that's going to be it for now, guys. So again, don't forget to watch Crisis on Earth X tonight. It should be good. And as for my Owlman, I do use gadgets with Owlman, but this is not Owlman. I had to cheat a bit because people wanted to have a few tips for the quantum powers. But Owlman, he does use a gadget. Like that. Like that. And like that. And of course, he's a stealthy one. So that's going to be it for now, guys. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. It's much appreciated. And hopefully, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, guys.